2, 1. All right, guys. We got one more section we're going to go through. We're going to hit on vehicle fires a little bit. I got a video after that I want everybody to watch and kind of take home something from it. It is actually about 2 police officers, I believe, in New York City. That one was killed. One was actually hurt, I think disabled the rest of her life. Were they doing the right thing? In their opinion, in their mind, they probably thought they were. I bet you now, though, if they think about it, that they wish they would have probably educated themselves a little bit more. And that's why I'm here, guys. We work so close together. Law enforcement is pretty near and dear to my heart. I mean, I got a lot of family members and a lot of friends in the police department. I mean, and it's something we worry about you guys just as much as we do ourselves. I mean, we're all on the same team here. So, in saying that, vehicle fires, Section 8, students will learn different hazards of vehicle fires and where to stage while awaiting fire department arrival. The student will also be able to recognize and identify different types of fuel cells and batteries in modern vehicles. Guys, there used to be, you knew that you seen a car and said, well, that's a hybrid, or that's a potential battery operated car, or was it Swan's trucks that are run on propane, right? And if they still are, I don't know if they are. I mean, I don't keep up with them. I'm assuming they may be, with the refrigerated truck and stuff. But I don't expect you guys to know because we don't know. It'd be a never-ending job keeping up with types of vehicles. But vehicle fires, that's an old one there. What was it? Appear to be burning.
That's what the bumpers would sure your leg.
Possibly, and exactly, and that's what we'll get into here. Sealed components here in a little bit. Over the years, vehicles have changed so much, and the ideas that they had in the 70s, 80s, 90s are totally different than what the ideas they have for 2018, 2019. Actually finding out some of the things that they did for safety was causing more harm than good. I mean, it's always evolving into different things. There's still cars like that out on the road.
Oh,
We see a lot of them. Upon arrival of vehicle fire, stage no less than 50 feet away from the vehicle if possible. 50 feet's close. Now that is in the NFPA book, or their Essentials book, and that is close. Especially a fire like that, burning that much. Cars are dangerous. There's a lot of things in cars that go boom. It just is. You got your fuel cell for one, could explode. You got 4 explosives right off the bat. What are those 4 explosives? Tires. They may throw rocks, could throw pieces of metal or aluminum, piece of rubber, especially. What else we got in there? We'll get into it a little bit more, but just see what you guys know about vehicle.
The
Bumpers,
airbags.
airbags. What about a battery? You ever heard a battery explode? That's impressive. What about trunks and hatchbacks? Mostly hatchback. Shock absorber.
Well, some.
They're small. Where's 4 more located sometimes? Depending on what kind of.
If it's a big or it'd be a hatchback, coming up, or like a Equinox or whatever.
Mm-hmm. What shock absorbers, in the fender wells.
Yeah.
You got most of all cars have that. Some of the newer ones may be a little different now with air ride, air suspension. They might be different. But then again, you got compressed air in a bag. Await fire department arrival upwind and uphill from the burning vehicle. Why? Hazardous materials. What is that car doing? It's burning. But as it burns, what is it doing?
Producing chemicals.
It's melting. It's producing chemicals. It's melting. Pretty much a car, you get it hot enough, it's going to melt. You ever seen a burned out car? What's left? The shell. Everything else is melted in contact. Turned into poison.
Just a car. No citizen trying to get close to it.
Nobody's in it. We have a vehicle fire like that, everybody's out of the vehicle.
It's like that,
All right, somebody size this scene up here for me real quick. Still
And we
see
can
some.
be in a parking lot, no structures around, no, nothing's gonna get fired.
They might be going to where it's on gravel, working on it.
Could be power lines,
Could be power lines maybe, yeah. But you get somebody in there and what's a good indicator? Let's just say that had, let's go back on here. What's a good indication that is a vehicle fire caused by something other than a car accident? See what I'm saying?
Because it's on a roadway.
It's on a roadway, there's really no damage that we can see to the vehicle. All right, so I'm not worried at this point, you know, if there's people outside and there's no damage to the vehicle, so you're thinking, you have to think to yourself that, well, it started in the engine compartment, it's burning through the firewall, you know,
Shouldn't be nobody in there.
shouldn't be anybody in there. All right? Now, if we don't see anybody around, yeah, it could be like a medical type emergency, you know, never know. You keep your options open. But if that vehicle had heavy, expensive front end damage to the side of that, or the front of that building, or the front of that vehicle, now I'm thinking, I can't see inside there, I don't know. But now I'm thinking that somebody's in that vehicle, in a track. All right. So we'll skip along here, stage 50 feet. White fire department, upwind and uphill. Hazards to be aware of, airbags and sealed components. One of the biggest hazards is airbags. Almost all vehicles have them. All right? You have a fire in the vehicle, in the engine compartment. What do you got? Electrical wires. You know, maybe not even be, you go to pop that door, have to get somebody out, or basically pop that door and start spraying water in it or whatever, was potential, that airbag going off. Okay, so as law enforcement officers, you come up on something like that, you open the door, you look in the building, something, you know, wires burn, something goes off, that airbag pops off. You just never know. That's what happens. Toxic gas and smoke from plastic components are extremely hazardous. What does burning plastic produce? Cyanide. And within 35 parts per million makes you very sick. All right? It doesn't take long. And there's nothing more than cyanide. And everything that puts off cyanide is in that vehicle. Everything. Plus. Toxic gas and smoke from plastics. Sealed components are a threat to life and safety. Once heated, sealed components can become pressurized and could potentially burst, causing a violent projectile. And that's exactly what it's going to be. All right, a couple examples of a sealed component. Mike said the hatchbacks is one of them. Some of your newer vehicles may have self-opening and closing hoods, so you may have them right there in the hood, and that's a lot of times where your fire starts. Okay. Be careful with that. Just a shock absorber, builds up heat, blows up. Be aware of shock absorbing bumpers. Mike mentioned that. Coil springs wrapped shock absorbers. All right, so you got your coil springs. Everybody knows it's compressed. It's under tension. You got your shock absorber in there. Maybe that absorber doesn't come through that spring, but it goes through that spring and hits it, and enough to knock it out. Who knows? You know. You got rubber grommets and stuff, you got rusty cars. Maybe all it takes is just that little bit of an explosion.
A good heat to weaken stuff.
Heat to weaken stuff. Drive shafts. I don't know.
I never thought about that.
Drive shafts is one of them. Okay, it's a sealed component. Anything else on there you can think of that we're not catching? When we say airbags, they just come out of the windows now. You got some cars where you roll that thing over, it's like a big pillow. Everything's protected.
Knee ones, you've got side ones, foot ones, you got them in the back of the seats.
Exactly.
You have this
All right. Fuel tanks and batteries. Due to increasing fuel prices and modern technology, vehicles are powered in many different ways. Propane-powered vehicles, such as refrigerated trucks, can be extremely dangerous when it's in contact with fire. Hybrid and battery-operated vehicles have large high-voltage batteries that range from 150 to 650 volts. Now, in saying that, could we take an old truck and run it on propane?
Yeah.
So if we see a 1975 Ford 3/4 ton pickup going down the road, pretty much, sure it's got a 351 or a 460 in it or whatever, but you don't know. A lot of those guys back when I was at Evan in maybe the 70s, they run propane. Not so much common anymore, but something you can't
A lot of
go
farms
on.
used to have propane tractors, not pay road tax and all that.
Yeah, but you gotta pay road tax if you got a vehicle with propane.
So I'm saying more farmers that have old propane tractors can fill the trucks, you don't know. They're not gonna make it easy to spot.
Right. So hybrid or battery operated vehicles.
RVs got propane tanks in
RVs, yeah.
them. It's got propane tanks all over the place.
RVs, you know. Hybrid or battery operated vehicles, you used to be able to kind of tell a hybrid vehicle. Well, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, they're all making them now. And you may have a Ford Fusion that's hybrid, and
They
they,
have a Chevy Suburban inside.
exactly, you don't know anymore. It used to be what your
The man's
Subarus
done
or
melted off, you don't know.
your stuff, you don't know. Is it, that's a story in its own, but that car could be extremely 150 to 650
One
volts.
of those batteries, when the truck plastic coating melts off, and then the lithium reaches air, and they go to burn like crazy just because it's exposed to air.
Yeah. Very dangerous situation we're coming across nowadays. Vehicle fire overview. Where should you be when arriving to a vehicle fire? Don't fill up with
So you got the gas. Anything else about the
it. And then that's important too. You got a heavily involved fire and you got gas leaking, dripping maybe. And you can see it. It's going to roll downhill. You're going to have to protect some exposures downhill. Describe some hazards faced during a vehicle fire. What are some of the hazards?
Closeness, rest.
All right, guys, what else? What if we show up and
Other
you
people,
guys?
if you're on the road, you might have other people trying to walk and run you over too.
Oh, yeah, that's, so, there again, vehicle placement, right? It goes back to vehicle placement. Where are we gonna park our vehicle and protect that seat? At least 50 feet. We're on Worley Street or a side street, it may be all right to block traffic. We're on Highway 63 or Highway 24, would it be safe to initially block traffic,
Not just 50 foot, you need
back it up a little bit, get their attention way back there. All right, say, hey, accident ahead, put out some cones, and might put out some flares.
That's where your law enforcement is, because they can shut down one lane and keep
Yeah.
that lane going.
On a vehicle fire, say a vehicle accident resulting into a vehicle fire, or vice versa, whatever. Exactly. Any kind of a UPS truck, FedEx truck, it could be anything. All right, guys, I'm gonna watch this video. This is a true story that happened in New York City. Happened in New York. After this happened, NYPD and NFPD, or DNY got together and came up with this study to further educate the police officers in the city.
On April 6, 2014, in New York City, 2 police officers arrived at the scene of a Brooklyn apartment building before responding fire units. They did not stay around waiting, but rather moved 4 fire. The department's actions were aggressive and comprehensive as it sought to provide policy that was realistic, effective, and provided for the safety of its members.
Let's start by looking at the ISFSI Safe Law Enforcement Operations on the Fire Ground with implementing ARC, or Access, Rescue, and Control in your police department. Police officers frequently respond to and at times find themselves arriving first at the scene of a structural fire. When this happens, you find yourself in a very difficult spot. With little or no fire ground training and almost no protective equipment, police officers must make a decision to either stand by and wait for the fire department or act to save a life. Obviously, a difficult decision considering the circumstances. So let's start with access. Access refers to vehicle placement. This applies to all around the scene, not just your police car. Make sure that you and other arriving officers position squad cars in a way that leaves room for the fire apparatus that will be arriving, provide for a safe roadway scene for the firefighters, and that the police car does not block any fire hydrants that may be in the vicinity of the fire. It's imperative that both the front of the building and the fire hydrant have easy access for fire apparatus. Most engine companies carry between 500 and 1,000 gallons of water. When you take into consideration the average fire attack flows between 150 and 200 gallons per minute, there's only 2 to 3 minutes of water. Another part of access is to control the civilians who might be trying to enter the fire building that's on fire. Once the civilians are off, we need to keep them off. One breath of the superheated fire gases and smoke can kill them. As an officer on the fire ground, one of your most important roles is to control civilians. It is helpful to obtain information from them like how the fire started, where the fire is in the structure, and if there was anyone left inside. If they state their baby is inside, try to clarify if it is a human or a pet. There have been documented cases of firefighters thinking they were looking for a child when they were actually looking for a pet.
That's everywhere.
Our acronym, the first consideration for the officer is scene size up. One of the most important things police officers can do on the fire scene before they're arriving at the fire department is size up. A good size up will set the tone for the entire incident. Is smoke showing? A little smoke showing? Or is there fire showing? Does it smell like burnt food, burning wood, or does it have a chemical smell? The prevalence of petroleum-based fuels used in modern homes, along with the energy-efficient features in homes, has created a firefighting environment different from that of the 1970s. Modern fuels release more energy and consume more oxygen than the fuels of years past, creating what's called a vent-limited fire. This situation occurs when the firefighter needs more oxygen and can develop rapidly when fresh air is introduced into the environment. Note the volume of observed fire. Just because nothing is visible from the exterior does not mean that there is a small fire or no fire in the interior. Are there reports of trapped people? Are there credible witnesses on scene? Risk versus reward. Are observed conditions so severe that the occupants still inside are likely beyond saving? Risk a lot to save a lot versus risk a little to save little. Is it an occupied residential structure, or is it a locked commercial or vacant structure? What is the fire department's estimated time of arrival? Are personnel close? Can you hear them? If so, maybe better to stay out, meet them, and give them information you have gathered. Remember, the makeup of your uniform is not Nomex or fire resistant. In some cases, it is polyester or nylon, which melts fast and may cause very painful burns.
With this in mind, the following tactical considerations should be used by law enforcement officers arriving before the fire department. Limit fresh air to the fire by closing doors and avoid breaking windows. Although it is not recommended, if you feel that entering a burning building to search for victims is critical, use a vent enter isolate search method by entering a space and immediately closing the door between you and the fire. This is essential to preventing violent fire growth. Think of a burning home with a wood stove. The more air you provide by opening the dampers, the hotter the fire will become. The less air you provide by closing the dampers will reduce the intensity of the fire. The same concepts apply to a burning home. It is important to understand that temperatures can increase by several hundred degrees throughout the home, simply by opening a door or a window. Your fire department is responsible for timing the openings in a building with the immediate application of water. Another option you have is to use your fire extinguisher to extinguish the fire. Remember that it will only be effective in the incipient or growth stage of the fire, and you will want to be back far enough from the fire as to not place yourself in harm's way.
Here are the top 10 dues for police officers on the fire ground, courtesy of the Fire Department of New York and the New York Police Department. First, verify the address. Second, make sure the fire department is responding. Determine the fire location in the building. Obtain information by questioning everyone present at the incident. Advise the police department dispatcher if you are entering the building, and make sure that they advise fire department dispatcher immediately. Close all doors behind you.
Highly recommend not going into a burning building.
Do have an escape plan. Consider a secondary means of egress. Check the floor layout on the floor below the fire. Use the wall as a guide and count doors from the stairway so you can find the stairway door on your return. Leave a member at the door to the fire area to guide you back and never enter the fire floor alone. Don't block the front of the building with police vehicles. Don't block hydrants. Use driveways or bus stops. Don't use elevators. Don't go above the lowest level of the fire. Do not ventilate. Don't break glass or leave doors open. Don't stay inside longer than absolutely necessary. Don't expect conditions to remain the same as when you entered. They will change quickly and often. Don't remain in the building after the fire department arrives and begins its operation. Don't attempt to stand and carry victims from the fire area. If in high heat, stay low to the floor and drag the victims to safety. Don't assume all windows can be open from inside, as you can end up trapped. Thank you for participating in the ISFSI Safe Law Enforcement Operations on the fire front. Please be sure to take advantage of other resources related to this curriculum and training topic, including the lesson plan, the quick drill, the PowerPoint presentations, the sample standard operating guidelines,
All right, guys.
and web-based training program. Please don't hesitate to reach out to the ISFSI if you have questions or need assistance in getting this program implemented in the department. Thanks again.
So, were they bad officers? Going in there to help somebody like we're trained to do, like we're wanting to do, like we're supposed to do? No. Good people, good officers. Things just went wrong. They're undereducated. They didn't have the same education that you guys do now. They didn't know the risk. They feel like they're risking a lot to save a lot, but you're gonna have some sort of training before you make that decision. Now, all we got to do here, a little activity. It's fun. A little activity here that kind of basically gets us do some group discussion. Won't take 30 minutes or so. I do have a test for you at the end of class. We'll review. If you guys have been following along in your study guide, you shouldn't have any problem with the test. And I do have evaluations that I need to pass out for you guys too that I'm doing. All right, so let's what I want to do here, and it ain't the best fire simulator that's out there, but it is a simulator. Whoever wants to go first, we'll do it a couple times and we can mix and match. Basically what this is a fire simulator. You got, I don't know if we'll do airport or one or two, so nobody picked that. But your 1-2-story bungalow Victorian, you got your strip malls, residential, California bungalow, center hallway, 1 and 2. What we'll do is everybody, for our activity, I want everybody to pick one. You can pick your own, whatever you want to do a size up. You can't pick the same one, everybody's going to do a little bit different one. Pick whatever size up you want, and then as a group, or I can do it, we can mix and match. We can put different smoke and fire in different windows, and once we get our scenario built, then I want each and everybody to do a complete size up, all right, and everything that entails. And then I want you guys to gather a little bit of information. It's going to be a little bit of role play, okay? Real simple stuff. So, Jerry, you wanna go first?
Let's just do number one.
Number one.
Airport. No.
All right, and good, it's a lot bigger. All right, so number one. Let's give him an easy one or a hard one.
Hard one, give him a hard one.
All right. That ain't too hard. It's kind of a hard one to do. All right, so Jerry's gonna do his size up. Just kind of what we got. Let's,
All right, we got a single-story structure with smoke and fire showing from the front of the residence above the front porch. No other smoke or fire showing from any of the sides that's visible right now. Unsure of possible occupants inside. We do have vehicles still at the house, nobody outside. We have vehicles as exposures on the left side, B side.
okay, then what we gonna do? What can we do? What can we add on to that?
Okay, add on to that.
When we do our size up. Anybody know?
Then I agree with 360.
360. All right, so Jerry, he's gonna go around and do a 360. He comes back, and this could happen, it will happen. There we go. We did his 360. Does his scene size up change?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he does his 360, now all of a sudden, fire department hears sirens in the background, not on scene yet. Your size up changed, and he's going to radio in and tell them what
So
up.
we got more fire and smoke coming out of the front.
Yeah. Okay. So, guess what? Let's see, Evan, which one do you want to do, bud?
California.
California.
Second, there,
California bungalow. Yeah, this one I like. All right. You are 2 blocks away, you're dispatched to this scenario right here. You pull up to the front of the building. What is your size up there?
Possible single family residence structure. Like heavy smoke and fire from the rear. Heavy flames, heavy smoke. Houses are pretty close for exposures. Cars out front, don't see anybody yet. Possible people home with cars out front. They have to possibly the garage behind it. Can't tell if it's a detached or attached garage here.
And can, at this point, can we really tell that that house is on fire or that garage is on fire?
Maybe the garage.
Maybe the garage. So, that's why it's important to do a 360. You pull up on scene and you say, Moberly, we got a residential, single-family dwelling, heavy fire and smoke coming from the back of the house. Got cars inside, you know, the scene, cars, people at home, and then you don't do that 360, and it may be the garage, a detached garage, and it's not even a rescue or a victim in danger at this time. Okay? So I'm glad Evan picked that one. I really like that one just because you can kind of work with it. And in a real life situation, I'm looking at, I cannot tell you if that house is on fire, or if that's the garage. Or both at this point. This one, both.
Yeah, so we don't even know if it's attached or not.
Yeah, you don't know it's attached. You don't know anything. Could be attached by a breezeway or an awning, or you just don't know. You just can't tell. If you don't know, well, I guess you can kind of determine by the way that it's set up that that vehicle is part of that homeowner.
Possibly. I mean, that might be the neighbor's garage behind. We don't know.
You got on street side
It's California.
parking, you know.
They do stuff different than Missouri.
Exactly. You know, very different. All right, Mr. Reinhardt.
Give me the one-story Victorian.
We already did that.
That's one. No.
Oh, no, we did the bungalow.
All right.
I don't see a difference between these. Same as the houses.
I think I throw it on, visitation.
All right. Tell me what we got going on here, bud.
Alright, so we arrive on scene and we see heavy smoke and flames showing from the B side of the single-story occupancy. Cars out front, so we don't know if there's people inside or not. Flames look like it could be going up towards the roof. The houses are close together, so you got exposure with the house. Can't tell if it's spreading to the back of the house yet. Can I do a 360 for that? Looks like a lot of brush and exposure as well.
Okay. And in seeing that, what can we assume by that yard? A lot of times nothing, but you see that yard right
It's
there.
unkept. It
It's
might
unkept.
be abandoned.
Yeah, it could
Might
be.
be for sale, maybe older couple.
Vegetation fire.
Yeah, you got if it's hot,
Vegetation's coming out of the window.
if it's hot and dry, you could have a potential for a vegetation fire. Siding drips down, it could create a vegetation fire. Yeah. What else? What other obstacles are we going to have with this one?
Fence.
Yeah.
Fence.
Might be dogs.
Yeah, might be dogs. You know, that's all information that you can give us. Be advised, house has a chain link fence around it. I can't tell if that is a piece of plywood or a front door. I think
I think it's a front door.
front door. So yeah. Now, as law enforcement officers, we're not going to be able to go in that house and get them out, but what can we do?
360, look in the windows, open the gates if we can.
What about Mr. Neighbor?
Next door neighbors?
You could evacuate.
Go ahead,
the house.
evacuate them.
Evacuate. Because what's happening right now, if that has vinyl siding on that house, what's happening?
It's getting out of the house and melting.
It's melting. Absolutely, it's melting. And we know now that heat, oxygen, and fuel makes fire. Mr. Westhuse, what would you like?
I don't think I'll go for the two-story Victorian.
Or two-story Victorian.
That looks like a hillbilly Hilton right there.
shingle you got on your two-story Victorian?
Two-story, possibly single wing as well. Got heavy smoke on the A side and the E side.
Everybody hear what he said? Possible single-story or single-family dwelling. Okay. Only thing other than saying possible single, it could be possible multi-family. Okay. That way you're painting a bigger picture. If you say possible single family dwelling, you know, as a captain, lieutenant, I'm thinking, okay, we can handle that. You talk about a possible multi-family dwelling, that paints another picture. So if you're going to paint a scene size up, I would go for the more extreme than I would for the latter part of it. Okay?
Got heavy smoke showing on the A side, on the, like on the eaves of the top story, and then also on the B and C side, we got heavy smoke showing on the eaves. Don't know if there's a basement or not. Went right in with 360, and I don't see anybody outside, and no vehicles standing out there, so.
No vehicles directly in front right now, so you're doing your 360. As you're doing your 360, what are you looking for?
Possible victims hanging out the windows, hollering for help, any more fire, maybe on the backside that I can't see. They could be coming from the first floor that I don't know about.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Come back around. Now we're thinking balloon construction house, possibly. Maybe it's a basement fire and the smoke's escaping from, you know, the eaves. But now look at it, we got fire showing. So the scene is deteriorating. Now instead of just heavy smoke, we now have heavy smoke and flame showing. Okay. Here you go. Say the fire department's delayed. You do a 360. Is there any reason why you couldn't do another 360 prior to our arrival? And just make sure you didn't miss something the first time? All right, Mikey. Whichever one you want. You want to do We'll do a center hall. Now, Mikey wants to strip.
Certain all you gotta go through the trench setting on that.
Right. It's more of a center hallway. Where do we want to put a center apartment? All right. Right.
I'm done with it, but I'll go ahead and do it. Multi-story apartment building, fire coming out of the
Say D side, we don't know if it's
D-side.
east or west, you know.
inside.
Okay.
More pitching smoke from the second floor. All right, I'm done with 360. I have no clue what's behind it.
Yeah. May not be able to get behind it.
On a building that size, you may not be able to do it.
You may not be able to do a complete 360. But you can do a 180. You get all the way down there and you don't see any smoke, no stained glasses, no nothing. And come back around and walk down this side of the building if you can. And if you don't see anything, then that's probably telling me that there's a room and contents fire on the lower level.
Lower level, and then it's up on the second level.
Possibly this, smoke coming, say,
Nobody outside.
nobody sitting outside right now. What's up there on the top level? Did anybody see that?
It looks like they're
Fire
fire
escape.
escape.
Fire escape, but is there something or somebody up on that? I couldn't tell.
It looks like somebody's out on.
It's like a barbecue grill covered up to me.
Might be.
Yeah,
Or
something.
no, I bet you that's a table with an
Yeah.
umbrella.
Yeah.
Because that's not fire, yeah, it is a fire escape, I see it hooked over the side now.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was one of those, antennas.
Towers, I guess.
So basically, guys, that's what I wanted to get you guys to show up on scene. And like I said, do a good scene size up. Paint a picture. Tell us what's going on so that we know. It's vital to get information from neighbors and see.
Some of it, it's, some of these stuff comes in with different things, you might be working at night, or you might have a bunch of vehicles in front of it, we can't access it. And I don't see no plugs down that way or the other way, so.
Yeah, it doesn't appear that building's sprinkled. I don't see anything that indicates it is. But look down low, below that, where the fire is. What's that?
More than likely there's probably a basement.
Basement.
Underneath that thing.
Yeah, so what you probably could have changed a lot if we did this here. Mm-hmm.
Looks like a masonry building.
Okay, pretty violent. But what if we took this all and you looked at that? Got smoke coming from that vent. That changes things, doesn't it? Could have started on that floor, have wooden floors and burnt the floor down, and it's just smoldering embers coming up. Could have started in the basement. Started in the basement, it consumed all of its fuel, now it's starting on the first
Right
level,
from the floors,
So
so.
anyway, that is going to be the end of the course today. Like I said, we'll review real quick for our test. Everybody did good on their activity. Everybody passed. Upon arrival, everybody, before you do your test, before I hand them out, we'll do a quick review. Upon arrival, officers should complete a blank walk around outside the fire scene.
360.
Okay. Lightheadedness, giddiness, rapid breathing, nausea, confusion, and anxiety are symptoms of what poisoning? Blank is a collection of tiny solids, liquids, and gas particles from an incomplete combustion of fuel. Heat, oxygen, fuel, and chemical chain reaction are main components of the transition between growth and the fully developed fire stages is. Opening door and breaking windows will prematurely blank the structure, allowing fresh air to enter the building. When arriving on a vehicle fire scene, it is important for law enforcement to park as close to the fire vehicle as possible, park in front of the closest available fire hydrant, park upwind, downhill from the fire scene, park upwind, uphill from the fire scene. Signs of structural failures and possible collapse include, remember all the different things? Water all
moldy, blowing window.
Anybody give me an example of a Class A ordinary combustible?
Wood.
Wood, paper,
Trash.
Class B flammable liquid or gas.
Gas.
Yeah, diesel, kerosene, paint.
Propane.
What's the difference in, petroleum oil and cooking oil and grease, mechanical grease and cooking grease?
A lot of them's plant-based and a lot of them's,
Basically, I mean, they'll burn the same, have similar characteristics of burning, but only difference is,
One's a class B and one's a class.
same characteristics, food-based. Electrical fires,
Class C.
special metal fires, cooking fires, okay. What's an ignition? Ignition, growth,
it is growing past ignition,
flashover,
Flat burner gases burning at once.
fully developed,
All the fuels being burned.
and then decay.
Run out of
fuel,
During a fully involved fire, what is that fire based upon?
air.
Fuel. It is, because your fuel, it is, controlled by fuel.
main one.
No, I don't think you need your.
Yeah, if you turn them in, I'll be outrated, you gotta probably put your name on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah, go ahead, and do that, so you can have it match up with the roster.
Oh, you can,
Yeah, that's your test.
I was just wondering.
That's a state.
Yeah, okay.
Pushing one.
No.
There you go.
Done.
I love the Louisiana basketball, man.
guys, get everybody to fill out an evaluation for me. Class evaluation here. You got the class content, how was the class on the first part here, and then the instruction part would be on my part. I'll pull up the, take one past it. The course title, Basic Fire Safety for Law Enforcement, it's on the study guide.
What was it?
It's on your study guide there, Basic Fire Safety. Basic Fire Safety for Law Enforcement.
What session is this? Doesn't matter.
No.
What was the session?
Don't worry about the session. All right. Got it? Everybody got their stuff turned in?
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, I greatly appreciate everybody
Good job.
coming to my class and sitting with me. I hope you guys learned something from this. In closing, really, guys, just kind of a thank you for what you do. You guys do a great job out there. We work close together. I feel like, as a 12-year firefighter on the job, that we can give back a little bit to you guys and work well together. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the class, guys. Thank you very much.
Good job.
Just now?
Hmm?
Been here 7 hours.